And hi, this is Mike Eline with the Circle of Legal Trust. I've got Trevor here with Accident Data Center. We're going to talk about blue chip links, how to get them, and how to get good quality resources pointing to your site that Google likes. So here's Trevor. Take it away and tell us about yourself.
Thanks, Mike. I really appreciate the introduction and the opportunity to speak to your audience today. Really wanted just to kind of step back and think about this notion of what it means to go after high quality links. You know, we hear about this in the market a lot, that, oh, if I can only get high quality links, and that would really make a difference for me in terms of my efforts to be more visible in search. And so we go after Wikipedia and DMOZ and the various directories, and maybe some days we'll get lucky with regard to a major news media sources, and those are all really great. That's what we're talking about. But in terms of trying to define a strategic methodology for going about getting links back to your site that actually are meaningful, I wanted to sort of demonstrate what that actually looks like, because we are looking, Accident Data Center is looking for the really high quality resources in given regions of the United States that we can then send our people to. That is a really valuable resource for them, and that Accident Data Center is modeled around this idea that we need to link outbound. We need to serve as kind of a gateway for accident information and legal information. So it's when we take a look at saying, how do you become that partner, or what do we need to do in order to be that guy? That's really where we begin to want to have conversations like, do you really qualify? Are you really doing good in your market? And are you a resource that we want to link to? Because our readers really need that. And when we do find that guy who's doing a great job and who really is trying to stand out and is looking for a way to position himself in his market, the impact in search is pretty interesting. And so I wanted to take a quick look at that as well. So let's open up screen share here real quick, and we'll go ahead and open this up, and let's see here if I get the right screen. What I want to do is go here. So first off, I wanted just to show off that Accident Data Center really is a player. I mean, obviously we're not ever going to be as big as a Wikipedia or any Yahoo or any other major portal, but for what we're doing, that is curating news content about accidents, about tragic events that are really affecting major populations of people, Google seems to like it, and people seem to like it.
Trevor, really quick, what are you sharing with us on the screen? Because right now I see a picture of the Hangout on Air screen.
Oh, okay. Well, let's see here. I'm supposed to be showing you Google Webmaster Tools crawl stats.
So go to screen share and then click on the actual icon of the screen that you want to share.
There we go.
And now you're sharing. It says blue chip links with Trevor Van Woerden. It's your Google Plus screen.
Are you seeing my crawl stats yet?
No.
Rats.
So yeah, so go to the button on the left that says screen share.
Yeah.
And then click on the actual icon of the screen that you want to share within there. It'll say, share this box or whatever. And see the actual Webmaster Tools thing and then click on that. There you go, you're in.
Okay.
And then go back to that screen to put your arrow over it.
There we go.
Go back to the actual screen. Yeah, there you go. I know it's kind of weird, huh? The way they set it up.
I think I picked the wrong one. Sorry about that. So the point that I'm trying to make is that Accident Data Center gets some traffic, right? And it gets traffic because we provide value to the internet. We provide value to real people who are looking for information about the accident they were in, that their family or friend was in, that they witnessed, and then about what are the next steps that they need to take. And so, in fact, we just hit our record high indexing rate of 101,000 pages about a week ago or so. So we're pretty excited about that, and wanted to just sort of show that off a little bit and make a point that the site is getting, some pretty good traffic. And that's really part of, this sort of idea that, I mean, you could, you have a blog and you could go out and try to create some really tight links back to your own site. But if it doesn't get any traffic, then it's just not going to have a lot of value, at least from our standpoint, that if nobody's seeing it, it doesn't bring much to the table. And so, that's kind of a first qualifier is, does it have traffic? And in this case, obviously Wikipedia and YouTube and, these, big sites like that have traffic, and so does Accident Data Center. So that's an important consideration. Then the next consideration we like to look at is, does it make sense to be there, right? I mean, do you want to be there at all? And essentially, that's what we're, what Accident Data Center is all about, is saying, how are we related to personal injury law, right? Does it make sense to, to want to be linked by this, or is it going to harm me somehow? And in fact, that's, if we take a look at the site, it's really tuned into, accident news from around the United States. And so if you are a car accident lawyer, right, that's sort of your first qualifier. It is truly about what it is that you do. And then if we dive in deeper, that the subtopics are, truly all about the legal issues that victims face. So it's really kind of a good close match for what, traffic accident and motor vehicle accident attorneys are focused on. And then it begins to have some credibility when this kind of site, looks to you to be a trusted resource that we can link out to. So then, when we take a look at what those links actually look like, we have a lot of flexibility, and we try to provide the most value possible. And so we do, in our case, just like a Wikipedia would do some exact match type stuff, right? So if I go in here to Wisconsin, for example, and I look at the Milwaukee region, and I dive in here even deeper and say, okay, this is about accident news and resources, about all the different types of major accidents, and I dive in deeper and I say, oh, okay, well, maybe there's accidents, what do I know about each individual type of accident? Oh, well, truck accidents, that's interesting, so I can dive in even more. And here we've got a page that's all about Milwaukee truck accidents and legal information, okay? And then this has all of the truck accident stories that have been picked up by Accident Data Center. It's all tagged correctly. And this page is dynamic. It's being added to on a regular basis. And then we say, all right, well, who in the Milwaukee region is really doing that work, right? Who's providing value to the community? Who's really going to be helpful? Well, it's going to be the hospitals, right? If you've been in an accident, NHTSA is going to be helpful. And then obviously a legal firm. So then we're going to link to this Milwaukee truck accident lawyer right here. And so this is an example of, what it means to have a really good link coming back to you in the right place from a website that is doing the good work, isn't just trying to, trick anybody or provide any sort of, misleading or bait and switch types of stuff. I mean, this is, all about truck accidents in the Milwaukee region. It's all about legal, and it makes sense to link out to, a firm that's providing services around that. So, when that happens, these firms tend to do really, really well. And I like, we talk about this a lot, and we like to see just how, what the outcomes are when links occur. And, they're pretty interesting. I mean, this guy was working hard to be a truck accidents firm, and he wanted to differentiate himself, and struggled in search, but now he is easily at the at the top of the list in Milwaukee. So I do this quick search here, Milwaukee truck accident lawyer, and here we see him standing out. So really great things can happen when we get solid matches back to the to the law firm that we choose to to link to based on the quality of the representation that they're providing. So in any case, that's sort of a short story long about what the impact can be for guys who are trying to do good work, because that's what we're trying to do. and trying to step out and be a little bit different. And when you actually do find good resources to link back to you, it can really make a difference to your law firm and to real people when they're looking for help. So I'm happy to answer any questions if you have them. Happy to open it up and see just kind of what is out there about this particular topic and how I can be more helpful.
Well, I just got a couple of observations. I think it's pretty cool that you have all that news from all over the world. I can see why Google would think it's a good resource. It makes a lot of sense,
Well, we've put a lot of time and effort into, building this. It's, there's I understand. We're small business people too, right? So we're in this market, and we're trying to provide a good resource to it, and it's really hard, right? I mean, the way the Accident Data Center has differentiated itself was basically by committing to building out a replica model of the United States. So in our database, we've got 55,000 cities, 3,500 counties, 205 Nielsen DMAs, 50 states, and then obviously the United States. So there's, at every level of structural hierarchy, we have resources, and then every single accident is tagged to the city, the county, the DMA, the state, and so on, so that in any direction, people can find what they're looking for. And when people have been in accidents, they're not interested in sports, right? They're not interested in Donald Trump at that point. They're interested in their story, and they're interested in, what do I do next? How do I recover from this? And so when you take and build a gigantic database that's structured over the entire country in a granular way, then you demonstrate clearly that this is the problem that you're trying to solve, right? That is, what do I do after this accident? How do I find the resources I need? And you could, right, go into, you're in LA, Mike, so, you could go and build your own curated LA accident site and try to, get it to work. And I've seen that in a few different places, but you suffer from, limitations of the breadth of geography, because you don't know where people are going to be. So are they going to find you? You suffer from maintenance overhead. You suffer from being able to keep up with it. And we've learned a lot over the last couple of years in terms of just being able to, what are the issues, that are sort of under the covers that you would never even, think about, like, caching pages, making the site fast, things like that, that can really slow you down in terms of trying to, create something like this on your own.
Yeah, no, I'm with you, man. It's a Herculean task to, and then you got to run it through, Flesh Kincaid and make sure it's the right score as far as readability goes. And then of course you're doing this highly sophisticated semantic sort of outlay where you're trying to answer the question by providing links to resources that would normally answer a question about an accident, like hospitals, legal websites. And it makes sense that you'd only want to reach out to vetted attorneys who are real and have that potential contributor to your site.
Exactly, right. I mean, we don't want to be linking to somebody who's just sort of fly by night, right? I mean, that we're linking to legitimate vetted hospitals and DOTs and government sites and all this information that's really valuable to real accident victims, and they click on that stuff like crazy. And so folding in an individual firm that can help is a really important part of that overall conversation.
Yeah, I see that. I'm just amazed at how much traffic that site is getting. I mean, it's just blowing my mind. The way the dynamics have changed in search too is just crazy.
Well, it's interesting. There are it has surprised us too, to be honest. The site has grown since July of last year by 50% in terms of page views. So we're and that's that's just by virtue of sticking to, you know, the original formula of continuing to fill out this database of you know, the wells, or, you know, the cells in the database of, like, okay, I've got Milwaukee, I've got car accidents, fill it in, keep going. And just continuing to do that has generated a, you know, a pretty strong, you know, presence. And, you know, yeah, we're excited about it. You know, occasionally we'll get some spikes, you know, some funny stories where us, well, they're not funny. I should qualify that. But, you know, we look at traffic. You know, there was a reality show in Alaska that got us a spike that we'd never seen the likes of, because we were the story, or the provider of that story, you know, months before that episode aired. And when it aired, everybody went and searched for the guy's name, and our traffic, you know, just went berserk. It like quadrupled in the space of an hour. So, you know, things like that happen that influence traffic. But mostly we're seeing just an organic, steady climb, you know, over time, and by just committing to providing really super, you know, a super value to the end user.
Mm-hmm. That's I mean, the way you have everything laid out with links to resources is, you know, it makes more, you know, now it's like, now I understand more, you know, what Google means by citation based and answering questions. So it's very, very cool, because I get the whole concept of sort of almost like guessing in advance, you know, what is this learning machine, right? Thinking, what is it? What kind of questions would it try to answer? And what intuitively would it look for, you know, in order to answer questions? And
you know, Mike, I think you hit the nail on the head. You know, you know, what I've tried to say is, you know, Google is not looking for dead ends, right? Google is looking for thoroughfares, and, you know, it wants to find sites that are, you know, participating in the overall conversation that we call the internet. And and that's where accident data centers fits in, and that's where I would argue, you know, attorney websites might want to do a better job of that. I see a lot of attorney sites that are dead ends, right? They want to hoard traffic. They want to keep it all for themselves and try to convert. And I think they miss out because search bypasses them once they figure out that they're not contributing to the overall broader conversation of the internet. And they're not linking out. They're not providing additional resource for, you know, end users. They're just kind of saying, oh, stop here. Here's my practice area page. Call me now. And people will or they won't. And if you put a link on your site that says, hey, you've got, you know, is your loved one in the local hospital? Well, here's the numbers, right? Here's the links to those websites here. I can help you find that resource.
right.
That's awesome. And I just don't see enough of that. I see a lot of like, oh, I'm the guy to solve your problems today. Call me now, and, you know, your life's good. And while that page may never get seen.
Yeah, you know, it's interesting because I remember when Google, and particularly Yahoo, which I believe leased the Google algorithm, when they first, you know, in their heyday, Yahoo's heyday, you know, you could use meta tags to, you know, stuff the meta tags to rank for those terms. And you could also link to other websites that were similar types of sites and actually rank your site by linking out. Yep. And then when over time it was revealed that that was no longer a ranking factor, people stopped doing it and started doing the link juice hoarding. And it seems like, you know, Google's kind of going back to the old days where we expect you to link out to authoritative sources in order to buttress the positions for which you're arguing.
Yeah, we're all about that. It actually has a name. It's the HITS algorithm, HITS. You can look it up in Wikipedia. And that is really a core foundation that we you know, nobody knows Google's algorithm, right? But we think that there's a lot to this outbound linking
I think
idea.
it makes perfectly good sense, especially with the hummingbird and the revelation of semantic, you know, contextual linking and all. You know, I just think that it makes perfectly good sense. I'm just impressed with how you're able to get original content on the site without being hit for duplication. And it just seems like you've done so much that it's that you're able to, I don't know. There's
Well,
just
Mike,
going on.
yeah, there is some secret sauce, I got to say, here with Accident Data Center, that is an event, right? An event that occurs, an accident, right? And it has let's say it has 4 or 5 unique stories that are written about it. Finding those stories and then, summarizing those stories and then presenting them in a logical, structurally sound way is tricky. And that is what our internal proprietary software does. So we are in constant development of that. It has elements of artificial intelligence. It does natural language processing. It is a very important part of our overall, strategy, and it's what we are really heavily focused on in terms of our the lifeblood of what it is that we do. So it's you can do it by hand. A human can do it, but it's very inefficient and it's very expensive. So what we're doing is figuring out how to automate that in an intelligent way. So and that's what Andrew's going to talk about in Vegas next week. So that should be pretty interesting.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited about it. I mean, I think that's where it's at, man. That's where you got to be able to do that. Got to take it to the next level.
Yeah, absolutely. You got to take it to the next level. Figure out where the content is. And accidents are an interesting topic, right? Because an event like that is not a copyrightable thing, right? That we can write about these these events and do it in such a way that you can't. It's not like you're not writing about somebody's story or about somebody's movie or about somebody else's art, right? It's a news item, and so it's a part of the original strategy that makes sense to keep us a viable enterprise.
Makes sense, man.
Yeah. So I'm really excited to dive in deeper, next week with everybody in Vegas, and to show off some more examples, and take a look at how it actually works, and what we are really trying to do to provide value to this overall marketplace, and how we can work together.
Okay, cool. Well, do me a favor and shout out your all your contact info to these people, and you can also go to the lower left there to the Google Hangout toolbox. I think I kind of went over this with you once before, but it's you can make a custom overlay and put your web address, your phone number, whatever you want to do, and have it show on the screen.
Okay.
Let me see.
Let's see. Come on. Hangout toolbox. Yeah.
So
that's going to take me. I probably have to edit that in, I think.
Yeah, no big deal. But I'm just letting you know for next time. I forgot to tell you, but it's kind of cool because it scrolls across the bottom. So in Las Vegas, what we're going to do is we're going to try to have a videographer there who's plugged in to a computer, and we're going to do what we call a hangout in real life. So we're going to try to broadcast this to other people. Like we've got a guy that's overseas and stuff, and we'll try to patch everything in and try to get you some connections with maybe even the UK. You guys can start doing stuff there too.
That'd be great. That'd be totally great. Awesome. Well, I can't wait to meet you in person, Mike, and all the other guys that'll be there, and it should be a great time to really compare notes and really set the stuff on fire.
I think it'll really be fun.
Cool.
And I'm going to try to get some other local guys, some local Las Vegas guys also.
Awesome.
Who are real influential out in that area. And I think that'll be good for you to make those connections.
Perfect. Can't wait.
All right, guys. Well, I'm going to go ahead and stop this broadcast, and we'll call it a day for now. At least we've got some tape. And if you want to get me, your blog post type thing, we'll get it up on the main site, and we'll embed this in there, and I can send you over a copy too if you want to do any edits or whatever.
Perfect. Thanks, Mike. Appreciate it.
Ending broadcast now.
Okay.